Welcome to Hashtag Sports.
Who's this guy? Who did I just who did what who I hashtag nation. Hi, do you remember me?
I found him at a truck stop in Alabama. He was just screaming "Roll Tide" the whole time.
I was in the bathroom. It was bad. No, do not try the Cajun wings. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, it is good to be back. We are live streaming. We are going to take your rapid fire questions live tonight. But as you know, this is Hashtag Sports, the home of chaos and mayhem, known from coast to coast like butter and toast. I cannot wait to go through the questions and answers and see what's going on with the Buffalo Bills in the upcoming 2021 season, Paul. I am stoked. I have not been here, but I have been keeping up with a lot of the things that you and Joe have been doing, the shorts and the breakdowns and everything else. Guys, I was in on a little bit of a hiatus, but I am back. Rick, 110%, buddy. You could tell Mario in this. I have. 18 viewers, 10 likes. Let's jump that number up. By the end of the stream, we should be up to around 700 people, but that's just wishful thinking. Paul, my partner in crime, my brother, how have you been, dude?
I've been good. You know, life with multiple kids is your time fills up quick, man.
It does.
That's all there. And you know what? This is the time of year where it's a little easier to step back from some football stuff and kind of enjoy some time with your kids, right?
Yes.
Like this is a hobby for us. I'm not going to say that it's not. But you know, it's Joe's been a big help. And you know, we miss you guys. So here we are. And we have lots of stuff to talk about. On top of the Hashtag Sports Golf Tournament, which is going to be coming up September 11th, the day before the home opener. That's going to be at Diamond Hawk Golf Course. So, again, we'll give you all the details, dollar figures, all that. If you want to come in just for dinner, John Veneron in the chat says he's driving up from 585 just for dinner. That's great. We're going to do a show right from the restaurant afterwards. So it'll be awesome to have you guys there with us. I can't wait. Can't wait. And we do have some stuff to get to, Mara, on the community tab. The one thing I do want to mention, though, is the Trek reviewer talking about you says, oh, he's not big enough. Throw him back. He's too small. Too small. And then somebody else asked how big, where is Apex? How big is that chair Mario is in? You're a sloucher.
I am.
I don't know why you are. You're definitely a sloucher.
I wanted to sit straight up in it, but I move so much when I sit straight up. So due to the so the viewers at home, so you don't pretend, so it doesn't feel like you're in the Blair Witch Project. I want to try to limit my movements. Paul's very good at sitting still and releasing his point and doing this. Paul actually purchased me. This is, guys, you can't really see it, but this used to be the old cord and it's plugged into the new cord because I tend to talk with my hands quite a bit and knock the damn thing out of the computer that's just below my feet. So, that being said, I'm trying to limit the amount of movement that I have. So, by slouching the way I am, I can do that and hopefully give you guys some concise points here and there.
And what Bill's stream wouldn't it be without a White Claw tangerine? That's what we're going with today. White Claw tangerine. White Claw tangerine.
You will not. If I gave, listen, I will personally Cash App or Venmo a viewer $5 if they can guess what I'm drinking by the end of the stream.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. I will say I played a show with Prestige Worldwide Band.
You did.
At Hartman's Distillery, and it was a launch party for a Loganberry vodka seltzer, and it was so
really?
dangerously good. But hey, you know what, Mark? Why don't we get to some stuff on the community tab?
Yes.
I think we should probably start there, and we'll work our way through. I will say,
okay.
Hot topic, Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz is definitely a hot topic, and ladies and gentlemen, Hashtag Nation, we obviously do have a sponsor for this show. It is Mr. Rogers Homes. So before we get to talking about Zach Ertz, can we just take a quick break for a word from our sponsor, Mr. Rogers Homes? We'll be right back.
Hashtag Sports is proud to partner with Mr. Rogers Homes. Sean Rogers is a proud Western New Yorker and is now your Arizona relocation specialist. You can see his reviews as a top 1% agent on Zillow, Homes, and Trulia.com. Go ahead and download his free Arizona relocation guide found in the description of this video. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, and, as Sean would say, God bless America and go Bills.
All right, Zach, see, you know what, Paul? We come at this, it's usual when people come to this stream, come to Hashtag Nation, we are very good at standing on both sides of a certain topic. All right, should they do this? Should they do that? Should they trade for this guy or not? Should this guy start over this guy? And we're usually, okay, are you for it or against it? And we always have that. There's some great discussions. However, I think it's going to be a little bit one-sided tonight because of our thought process going in for the philosophy of the Buffalo Bills offense in 2021, what they're going to do on Ertz and why they probably won't do it. And if they do it, they do it. Okay, I understand it. I understand the move. But I can also understand, and I got a little bit of a nugget to drop on Hashtag Nation today. So why don't you tell me your take on the whole Zach Ertz situation going on at One Bills Drive right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, all roads lead to Buffalo there, right? Like, if you want to make a case for Zach Ertz, I think it's pretty easy to do so. Mm-hmm. If you want to make a case against Zach Ertz, it's also pretty easy to do that, you know? So this is it's a weird dynamic because there's people who are very much for it, people who are very much against it. And I don't really know if there's a lot of people in the middle. I think, you look at some things from Buffalo's past, you're like, listen, I don't want a burnt out veteran. What is a burnt out veteran going to do for me for 1 year? You know, any assets we trade away, that doesn't help you in the future. And that's what they're looking for, right? So do I think Zach Ertz can return to 2018, 2019 Zach Ertz, where he caught for 2,000 yards and like 16 touchdowns? It was one injury away, man, you know? Yeah. And that was with Carson Wentz, who they couldn't get out of town fast enough. So,
well, he was having an MVP type year too.
He was
one of those years. So
You're right. So the numbers could be a bit inflated there. And if you look at what, Brian Daboll has done with tight ends in the past, the question is, well, is it because the tight ends that he had on the rosters just weren't excellent, and that's why they didn't really produce? No. Or is this just a Daboll thing? I don't know, Mar. What do you think?
It's hard to make a case, and I know I've beaten this to death, of a guy who coached Rob Gronkowski not being able to get his tight ends the football or involve them in the offense at any great capacity. If you looked at it last year, barring injuries, at certain points of the year, you had Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and John Brown. And then you had the introduction of Gabriel Davis, the rookie who picked up everything very, very well. Now, you look at all of that, and their propensity to try to get the backs involved in the passing game. Mm-hmm. Where's there room for a tight end to have a significant impact in a Daboll offense when he himself for years, to your point, he may not have had the greatest tight ends, but it doesn't seem like that's a huge thing for the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. It's almost like the parsley on your dinner plate. Okay, it looks nice. Yeah. It's great to have, but it's not really the driving force. The stake of the offense runs through the receivers. So would Ertz be a great get to take guys away from Diggs? Yeah. Take guys away from Davis? Yeah. You don't know what the heck's going to go on with Cole Beasley. So you might be out of slot receiver. So, I mean, you got guys like Stevenson and McKenzie who aren't Beasley, but could come in and give you a little bit of help there. But, I mean, you and I both talked about one name that they signed in the offseason that is, and I really haven't heard many people talking about this. You were the first one to bring it up to me. So why don't you extol the virtues of your knowledge of why they signed this guy and why this guy might supplement the tight end position?
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. If you go back and you watch anything that Emmanuel Sanders did with Drew Brees, he did everything you'd ask a tight end to do, right?
Except block.
Except block, right? You're not asking him to do that.
No.
But, I mean, one of the reasons you saw such piss-poor tight end production out of New Orleans is because they didn't need him, right? Emmanuel Sanders did a great job of finding soft spots and zones, staying open as Breeze manipulated the pocket. Like, you want to talk about a smart signing. Emmanuel Sanders was exactly that. A brilliant signing by Bean because he supplements that tight end position. You don't have to have a burner there, right?
Yeah.
Emmanuel Sanders is not going to be taking the top off a defense, like
No.
34 years old, right? So let's be realistic about what he's going to give you. But if you lose Beasley, he could supplement you, right? If you're going to run 4 wide sets and you've got Sanders out there, he can supplement for those soft spot, finding that soft spot in zone, staying open while, the play breaks down. Everything you need, everything Josh Allen's going to do, stay alive in the pocket. Emmanuel Sanders will stay open as stuff breaks down. And that's one thing that you pay for that luxury. Like the Buffalo's not, Emmanuel Sanders isn't cheap. And they're going to pay for the luxury.
No. And Ertz isn't that type of a guy that's going to, like a lot of these 1 year, 2 year deals that the Buffalo Bills sign, they're guys that are like prove it deals, mainly, 29, 30 years old. Okay, you're playing basically for your next contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. And there's 2 great comments that I just saw in there. First of all, Rick Rorick says Hollister, if there was something known as a 3-down tight end, I don't think he's a 3-down tight end. I don't think he's going to help you with, a defensive end, so to speak. I think Hollister is more of a receiving tight end in that respect where you're going to split him out. 999 Silver says, let's say Diggs gets hurt and we have Ertz. Does it make sense now? Who's your one? I think if Diggs goes down, it really doesn't matter who your tight end is in that respect.
Truth to Hearts actually brings up a great point.
Yes,
too.
he does.
Says we're asking the wrong question. We shouldn't worry about where Ertz fits in this lineup. Defensive coordinators will have to account for him. They have to worry, not us. And I think that's an interesting point to bring up, right? Because Ertz is a dangerous red zone weapon, right? And the most dangerous red zone weapon on this team has, and even with the addition of Ertz, will remain to be Josh Allen, right?
It really is.
Yeah, he's the most dangerous red zone weapon on this team. So, I think there is a definite question of, do you need Zach Ertz? Well, I think do you need Zach Ertz versus is Zach Ertz worth the money are not the same question.
I just looked it up really quick, and it's interesting. Truth, you want to say this because he has his 2022 and 2023 are voided deal. I'm just over the cap. You guys know if you've been with hashtag for a number of months or years at this point, we always use over the cap. Spot Track's great too. 2021, he's 31 years old. Base salary is 8.5. Obviously, the Bills can work around that. That's all they're going to be on the hook for if they trade. However, do you want to pay $8.5 million for a decoy? Mm-hmm. Like that, to me, that's where I'm coming at it. Truth. That's my stance on that. Where okay, if he was $4 million, yeah, okay, let's do it. What are you going to give up to get him? Because it's a 2-part question. What are you going to give up to get him? And would he be an effective guy in this offense? True, red zone, I agree 100%. I mean, you definitely have somebody that the defenses have to account for in the red zone. I'm
going to disagree with you here a little bit.
You don't think he's at $4 million? You wouldn't try to do it? Or?
Well, no, that's not it. When you talk about paying money for a decoy, so there's one thing that I can instantly go back and say, talking about a decoy, right? And I just want to point out that in 2020, right, Rob Gronkowski caught 45 balls, right, in 2020. And when Rob Gronkowski was signed, everybody said he's not in football shape. I don't know what he's going to give you, but you'll have to at least account for him, right? He caught 45 balls, 7 touchdowns on 45 receptions. And the Super Bowl caught two touchdowns.
Yeah.
There's a point where you just build the talent. You just let the talent do what the talent does, right? So is Ertz more talented than Sweeney? Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Ertz more talented than Hollister?
He'd be the starter.
I think probably.
He'd be the starter over Knox.
I agree.
Day one.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So if we're looking at it from a numerical standpoint, Josh Allen threw 572 passes last year.
Right.
Okay. Oh God, this is I got to click onto the target. So, someone had something on there. Be like, what's up, guys? What's going on? Apex says, do you want to pay 8.5 and give up assets? I mean, the first guy I'd be giving up would be Cody Ford because everyone needs lineman help. I would.
You look at who's going to make this team, man.
True.
I don't know, Cody. Yeah.
Well, you brought it up off camera. The Bills acquired some nice assets that could be involved in trades. Who was the guy that you brought up, Paul? I can't remember.
Oh, Forrest Lamp.
Forrest Lamp.
Yeah. Like you look at the guys that they brought in across the offensive line, and they brought in guys who started in the NFL. And what do you do when you do that? Well, if they're not going to make your team, you start waiting for the injury bug to start slipping around, and then you start making phone calls saying, listen, we've got this guy, we're going to keep him, but you know what? For a 5th round pick, we don't have to keep him. Right. Like and maybe that's the name game that you play, right? Because we know that they got Feliciano on the roster. You've got Lamp on the roster. You've got Bobby Hart on the roster. These are all guys who have started that are going to be assets for somebody if they're not going to be assets for you. And Bean's done a great job of building a roster that is, what's the best way for me to phrase this? Movable. There's really a lot of guys you could move here for value. There really is. This is a hard team to make. It is a really hard 53-man to make.
All right. Truth says I wouldn't call Ertz a decoy. Grunt gives you yak. Smash that like. Thank you, Elliot. Because I was looking at it, I just had to go to the advanced stats for the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, Josh Allen threw 572 passes. Diggs had 166 targets.
Mm-hmm.
107 went to Beasley. So that's 273 passes out of 572.
It didn't feel like 107 targets for Beasley,
did it? It didn't. No, he caught 82, though. Like, there were a lot of third shorts where Beasley came up big. He caught 52 passes. 53 of them were for first down. Mm-hmm. So only 19 weren't. Mm-hmm. Right, 29. I'm sorry. Math guy.
And you're the math teacher.
I'm in the off season. Okay. But the point was, you got Gabriel Davis coming in. He had 62 targets. That number's going up. Is the 52 targets John Brown got? Does that go to Ertz or the tight end position? Because Knox had 44, but he only played 12 games.
I'm inclined to believe that Gabe Davis' target share stays the same because remember, he wasn't when Brown went down, that's where we saw Davis's targets start to spike a bit, right? So I'm not the believer that Davis's targets are going to spike. I think they're going to stay exactly where they are. Now, mind you, right, we got to talk per game because we got an extra game this season. So all these numbers are going to go up. All right, they're all going to go up. Spin says, has Spencer Brown signed yet? If not, what's the holdup? Real quick on that, 3rd-round picks often are a little challenging to sign. It's just because of the way that the collective bargaining agreement works. Normally these contracts are all fully vetted, but those ones are 3rd-round picks are just a little bit more of a challenge.
They are a little bit more. Let me try to lay this out in two different aspects. Are we still running on YouTube? Is it clear? Because I'm getting an error on the YouTube stream for me.
Let me check. Yep, right. We're still on.
Okay. So the thing about it is does Ertz instantly make your offense better? I will say yes. Does he now provide a 5-wide look if you wanted to with Beasley, Sanders, Davis, Diggs, and Ertz? That, just saying that, provides a lot of headaches for any type of defensive coordinator that you want. Mm-hmm. Because I think the Buffalo Bills, the reason why they tried to keep the unit together, the offensive line unit together, is so they could reach and get some of these offensive playmakers and not have to worry about keeping a guy in or 2 guys in or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Okay. YouTube froze for us a moment. All right. Thank you, Vernon. But do you necessarily need him?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if you necessarily need Ertz.
I look at it this way. How deep do you feel with this wide receiver group? Maybe that's the next conversation, Mark.
All right, well, let's go to that. Because it's almost like you have an extra draft pick this year because Hodges is back. Mm-hmm. And apparently, by all accounts, what's going on, he's high pointing the ball. He's a big physical wide receiver, kind of like Davis was. We were really excited. We talked on an episode many, many moons ago that him and Davis were 2 guys that if you happen to change offensive coordinators 2022, they could play in any offense for you.
Right.
They really can adjust to any offense. And Davis has already proven that. So that being said, 2 big body targets with Diggs. If when Beasley's contract is up and Sanders is walking, you have those 3 targets going into 2022. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but the point is this: you have a draft pick and a guy that you didn't have last year, so it's like almost an extra guy. Mm-hmm. I am confident in this wide receiver core to see what they're doing, especially going into Allen's 4th year.
Right.
Like the command he has to get these guys the ball. I'm very, very excited to see that and very eager to see how they work him into it. You know what I mean?
And see, I look at Hodgins, and I think he's a more likely candidate to get waived to put down to the practice squad.
You think so?
I do. So
I don't.
let's just
your
for argument's
screen's
sake.
going crazy. I think it might be mine or yours.
Oh, I don't know.
Your screen's just going nuts right now.
Oh, hey, look at that! Wow, it's a party over there.
What?
I don't know. Uh-oh. Webcam went out. I'm still here, though. Oh, yeah. See, look at that. All right.
It was going nuts for a second.
It was going. Yeah, hold on. I'll just unplug it and put it back in. Hold on.
All right. Good times, y'all.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it. Oh, my goodness. Hold on. There we go.
I thought I was in the ring.
What would it be if it wasn't a hashtag sports?
Paul's cam went all disco. Hen dog went crazy.
I did.
I thought it was me for a second. It's not dial up. It is pouring here right now, by the way, at my house. So, yeah, if you guys aren't following our Instagram or Twitter, that's probably what's best way to do. The old unplug and plug it back in.
That's it. That's what you gotta do. Plug it in. Yeah, good times. Good times.
So I will revert to the chat talking about Hodges. I agree on Hodges, Paul. You think he's going to get cut? Oh, that's interesting.
I do. All right, let's see. Let me restart the video here. Hey. There we go.
I think we're good. There we go.
Hey, everybody.
That's it.
Thank you for calling technical support.
So just to go for another resource that we have. Yeah. Thank you for calling. Yeah. Stop it. Yeah. Stop it.
You unplug it and plug it back in again. It's fine.
So NY Up. Let me just throw this out there real quick. NY Up has 6 receivers making the roster.
Yeah.
Diggs, Sanders, Beasley, Davis, McKenzie, and Hodges. Where you have Stevenson, Kumaro, Williams, Gentry, Powell, and Lenore getting cut.
Right.
Now, obviously, we know Paul's brought this up many a times. If the guy has practice squad eligibility, they're more than likely to get cut and sent down. And I'm not sure if the COVID protocols go in as they did last year. Protecting like 4 players, you can protect 4 guys that are down there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's in place. Paul would know all that. He's the master of the CBA. But your take on Hodges? Why do you think he's going to get cut?
I think he's the most hidden receiver, right? Because he missed all last season.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
He was a later pick, and to be honest with you, Jay Kumaro has played 100 special team snaps the last 3 seasons. Each of the last 3 seasons.
So by versatility, you're saying Kumaro makes it over Hodges.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
How many special team snaps did Davis play last year?
Gabe Davis? Not many.
I was just saying, because essentially this is Hodges' rookie year. Like if we're going to talk about it, so Davis had his rookie year last year. He played and learned out of attrition because John Brown was hurt.
Right. Yeah. So it's not the same.
No, it's not.
Right.
No.
It's not apples to apples.
No.
So I think if you're looking at wide receiver depth, you start with the obvious, right? I think you're obviously keeping Diggs, Beasley, Gabe Davis, and Diggs, Beasley, Gabe Davis.
Hey, Joe.
Excuse me. Sorry. Emmanuel Sanders. McKenzie's like, it depends on who your return guy is, right? So I think you have those 4, and then you have your return guy, and then you have insert versatile special teams wide receiver.
Stevenson could be a guy that they look at. I
haven't heard great things, man.
Well, the guy came out. Where's Stevenson? Where is he? Wait, let me see. I just had his tab up here. Stevenson came out of All right, hold on. Let me go back. Stevenson came out of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, is that what you were looking for? I actually
Yeah.
knew that one.
Oh, sorry. So Stevenson came out of Houston. Not the greatest route tree down there. Okay. And if you're coming from, first of all, if you're coming from a college offense to an NFL offense, even though they're starting to run a little bit more spread in the NFL now, Mr. Berman, you know what I mean? You have to know the entire route tree. Not only knowing the entire route tree for a Brian Daboll offense, but being able to adjust to the coverages that you have in front of you. And that's not something that I think he is apt to do, especially from the slot position, which is highly required in this offense. So while he may be a special teams guy, he may be the guy that just is a special teams guy. So that's when they won't only bring him in.
Well, let's back up for a second.
Gotcha.
Who's this team's primary kick returner? Now, mind you, kick returning is not it's a dying position, right? It really is.
It really, you don't return many. Like let me
Right.
go to the stats for the Bills. The primary, you think it'd be McKenzie?
Well, I mean, I think he's your de facto right now. So who is your returner? Because whoever your returner is taking that fifth spot, they don't really have anybody there who has returnability that's playing an ancillary position. Like there's no competition from the cornerback or safety position. So
Wow.
what? You
So-
looking up Stevenson's college stats?
No. I'm looking at. So Andre Roberts. There were a total of 31 punt returns for the Buffalo Bills last year.
Okay.
To a game. All right. 36 kick returns. Now, we know that the Buffalo Bills defense last year wasn't what it was like the previous three under Frazier. You know what I mean? So, I mean, 36 kick returns in 16 games. Is it really that is there really that big of an onus to have a kick returner on your roster?
Right.
I mean, just get somebody in there. I mean, they had Micah Hyde doing punt return. I mean, just let him fair catch the damn thing every time. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So, if you're looking at if that number was 50, I could see you assigning something for that. But it's 36. Like, and you expect this defense to be a lot better. He had what did he have? 30 yards per return, which is nice. When he actually did return, he had 30. Andre Roberts had 32 returns for 961 yards last year. I mean, that's pretty damn good. But is that something that you need to a lot of roster spot for? I don't think so. I don't think you do.
So you think
Not true. We cut him last year.
Kumaro-
What? Ooh.
So you think carrying Kumaro because he plays special teams for you, and carrying a returner, that's not two roster spots. That's one.
That should be a one roster spot for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to say if purely Stevenson can fulfill both those roles, I'm fine with it. So you got you talk about him being a gunner and a returner,
right?
Yeah, Stevenson can do that. I feel confident that he could do that because
all 144 pounds of him. Okay.
True. How much is Kumaro?
I want to get to a comment.
Yeah.
So Matthew Bagdasar, which is a name I'm not familiar with. Welcome, Matthew. A couple really good comments. The one that I want to get to, though, says, does the acquisition of Sanders kind of diminish the potential for a larger role in the backfield? Now, we've talked about Sanders supplementing the tight end position, but we know Devin Singletary is not the most accomplished receiver of the football when thrown, right? No. Not the most accomplished. Kind of why they went out and got Zach Moss was they wanted somebody who was a little bit of a better receiving back. Now they also add Matt Breida, who is a very accomplished receiving back.
Very.
So to me, I think the addition, I'm really high on Breida. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask here, right? I'm like, really high on
give me the question and I'll do it because you're partial to Breida. It's like asking who's going to be the CB2 this year and asking Paul.
The answer's Dane.
The answer's Dane Jackson for
Dane
Paul.
Jackson.
It's okay. It's fine.
So if you had to look at targets, let's say the running backs are going to get 80 targets this year. Of the three running backs, whom are getting the what's the target breakdown?
What's the target breakdown? So let me look because, history tends to repeat itself when you have the same offense.
Mm-hmm.
Singletary had 50. Moss had 18 last year.
Right.
Okay. Moss caught 14 out of 18. Singletary caught 38 out of 50.
Okay.
So to your previous point, why they got Moss is true. I think Breida probably gets the lion's share of that. But what you're doing is by doing that, you're tipping your hand in your offense when Breida's in the game. So I think that they'll still try to have Singletary be the running back one, at least going in, because that's what this team's all about. All you have to do is look at Levi Wallace to find that out. Like, Levi Wallace was the starting corner the past 2 years as they brought in other corners to dethrone him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Men in the Kitchen says Breida running back one. Yeah, I would if it's my team, I'm starting Breida. Because I think he offers you so much more of getting to the edge more than Moss and Singletary. I'm not saying Moss and Singletary are bad backs. Now, to me, and Paul and I have talked about this, Hodges and Davis transferring over to a new offensive system is the same thing as Moss and Singletary transferring to a new offensive system. In fact, I think in a non-EP system, Moss and Singletary are more valuable to your team than they are to an EP system, just by attrition. So, but in this system, Matt Breida for me, and I'll die on this hill with you, Paul. Matt Breida would be the starting running back, but he's only on a 1-year deal. They only got him to hit the edge. Do you have Antonio Williams who can hit the edge? Yeah, but it's not Matt Breida. They go with experience. You even told me that before the stream started. They go with experience. So what does that tell you? What does that bestow upon the nation when you go with experience, Paul?
This team has a tendency to build from the draft, right? Like, that's really what they want to do, is they want to get their foundation built in the draft. And the best way to do that is to build that foundation and then put players in there who could play for you tomorrow if they were signed off the street. Matt Breida could play for this team tomorrow if he were just signed, right? These veterans who have been around, he's entering year 5. He's coming from a couple really complicated systems. It didn't work out on Miami. Well, that was Chan Gailey. I think end of sentence, right? Like, it was Chan Gailey.
Did Chan Gailey get C.J. Spiller 1,200 yards?
Oh, yeah, all 800 of them in the second half. I don't even want to go into that argument. That is something. CJ, okay, we're just gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's talk about CJ Spiller when he got 1,200 yards. 800 of them came in the second half when the Bills were losing by 30 points. Okay, so let's just be done with the whole CJ Spiller was a good running back for the Buffalo Bills conversation. That 1 year, Spiller was so good. He had 1,200 yards. Yeah, but did he play the first half? Yeah. Was he good? No.
And I challenge any of the nation that if you want to fact check that.
Yeah.
When the Bills were down by at least 14 points in the start of the second half is when teams were conceding the run, and Spiller got all of his yards. I can't believe I missed you guys. Apex is mad at us right now.
Apex is convinced that Breida isn't going to play
on the bubble. Okay.
Well, the interesting thing about Breida is that while he's a speed back, he is a one-cut guy, which is very similar to Singletary and Moss. So the styles are very similar. Breida's just a lot quicker than the two of them. You know, he just gets that top speed a bit faster.
He does. Even in his advanced year. And Apex, I'm going to say this. I know you're joking, but if you left, I would be sad. I'm just telling you. If you left, I would be terrified. Because I haven't been here in a while, and I would feel really sad if you left. But he offers you something in the running back room that you don't have. Mm-hmm. Williams is similar, but there's a reason why when people interview for jobs, and I know I'm comparing a regular job to the NFL, they want experience. Breida has that. Breida's been in multiple offenses. So I think he can learn this offense faster. And I think that he would be a valuable asset to get to the edge if you're expecting not to go with a lot of tight end looks. If you're thinking of going one back set, 4 receivers, and you got Matt Breida in the backfield and you spread this defense out, he can hit the edge past Williams or Dawkins faster than anybody that's on this team right now.
Right.
Now, if you put McKenzie in the backfield, I think you're tipping your hand a bit. But No one wants to keep him. He's been to a Super Bowl, right? Oh, was Breida Super Bowl
With the
Niners? No, I don't think so.
Niners?
Did he go that year? Was he there that year?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. Elliot says Matt Breida is a Madden god. In response, so is Seneca Wallace. Should not use that argument.
Listen to me, guys, very carefully. In 2004, you were allowed to put any player in any position when you played Madden Online.
Yep.
You know who my starting defensive ends were for the Atlanta Falcons?
Oh.
Peerless Price and Michael Vick. For the all-time teams. You could do that. It was a thing. It was a thing. But the point was, I used to crush Seneca Wallace. Shady has won too. That says nothing. Oh, with the rings? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Apex, real funny. I love the fact that Shady touts that when he mentions certain things. Like, I don't think he played it down in either Super Bowl, but he touts
but he got to wear a jersey for one of them.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't even dress for the first one.
He was wearing a suit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know, but he had to wear a jersey for one of them. So we started this by talking about the running back room. I mean, I think Breida adds an element. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going on a limb saying. He adds an element in your running back room that you don't have right now. They're going to go with 3 running backs. Mm-hmm. They're going to go with Singletary, Moss, and Breida. There's a reason you sign a guy like that. I mean, going off the history of Bean and this front office and what they do in the offseason is a really good tell when neither did Breida. He was inactive. Okay, Apex. So he wasn't active for the game. So it's a really big tell to see what they take into the season. Now, they also do love insurance policies, so we always have to mention that. They always like getting insurance policies for their players. Mm-hmm. So if Moss or Singletary happen to have a few hiccups here and there, you could see Breida get significant time. I mean, contrary to Apex saying he doesn't even think he's going to make the roster. So,
well, maybe this is
I'm sorry, Taiwan Jones too. He's going to make. There's going to have 4. Taiwan Jones is there too because he's going to use your special teams ace. Am I losing my mind? Did I read that wrong?
Taiwan Jones is on the roster.
He'll make it too. Yeah, he will.
He'll blow in the playoffs.
He'll blow in the playoffs.
So you bring up. So we're skirting around an interesting point. I think we're skirting around an interesting point. So
talk to me, Goose.
Well, I know that I was critical of the Moss pick because you already had Singletary, right? And as the season progressed, you saw the team's lack of commitment to Singletary over Moss, right?
Yep.
Singletary took a while to get Frank Gore out of the way, and then Moss was able to contribute right away, right? So the two dynamics said, okay, something is not right here.
Right? We had Singletary getting traded for a 3rd-round pick at the draft.
Again, it was one of those things where you look at it and say,
"That's fine. I'm fine."
The
with
dynamic says something's up.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does taking Basham and Rousseau say about the Bills picking Epinesa?
I was just gonna freaking. I was laughing. That's
why
I was laughing.
It's the same argument.
It is
right?
100% the same argument.
If you're frustrated that the Bills drafted Moss, or you're disappointed that they're not committing to Singletary, right? What about Epinesa? What's the difference? Right?
The difference is...
What's the difference?
There's no difference, but here's the deal. You know, as well as I do, there's two different arguments going on here. Because with the offense and the defense, an edge rusher is far different than a running back in the NFL today. Far different. You invested draft picks in a position that is being devalued. Will it be devalued? Will the running back position then start to come up again? We don't know, Paul. We don't know. In the passing league that everyone talks about the NFL being, history and stats have proven that it is a passing league. We think that the running back position is devalued. Another thing that we say quite a bit on this show is that the draft is the cheapest way to build your roster.
Mm-hmm.
So adding together the cheapest way to build your roster with the position that is being devalued with 2 running backs in back-to-back drafts, it makes sense. Let's spend the cheapest amount of money on the position that's devalued the most. With 2 guys that have similar skill sets that can play in any offense if our offensive coordinator happens to leave. Right. I have no problem with them drafting. I don't think it's a sign for one or the other. I think they got 2 guys with similar skill sets that when one comes in the game, you can't key on the other one. You know what I mean? Like if you had Fred Jackson and CJ Spiller in the game, you knew they had vastly different skill sets. Spiller is not running inside the tackles like Fred Jackson. So you knew defensive coordinators could key. The difference between Singletary and Moss, they do have differences, but you don't have to change up your offensive philosophy when either one comes in the game. All right, I'm done talking about those guys. As far as the other side of the ball goes, Paul, we talked many times about getting younger. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. You talked a lot, and you were 100% on it, about getting younger at the position. Hughes is 34 on a contract year. Addison is 35 on a contract year. You just lost Trent Murphy. His contract expired. Murphy, Addison, and Hughes. What did you do? Epineza, Rousseau, and Basham. You got younger at the position and got these guys a year to learn under these two maniacs in Addison and Hughes so that they can then take the mantle from those guys when they leave. They're cycling that position. So while I agree with you the fact that in back-to-back drafts, you took two defensive ends after you took Epineza and you took Moss after you took Singletary, I think it's two completely different dynamics of why those two things took place. Obada. I just saw it in the chat from Jake.
It's so hard when I edit a video not to put that in all over the place.
Oh, Chris Sims thinks they might be bust. But I'll ask Nation because I just went through a whole diatribe. Do you guys, does that make sense? Paul, does that make sense to you?
There's most certainly there's most certainly a dynamic of premium positions that you have to pay attention to, right? And if you want to not spend big money because you need to pay a linebacker, a middle linebacker money, and you need to pay a quarterback money, you avoid those premium positions by not having to go into them, and you avoid having to pay premium positions by drafting them. Right? Defensive end's a premium position.
It is.
You're going to get as many as you can and just see what washes out because you can't afford to get one in free agency. That's the reality, right?
No doubt, yeah.
You're looking at the next 2 years and saying, we can't afford to spend money at the defensive end position. So we're just not going to do that, and we're just going to draft. We're just going to keep drafting them and see what happens because it's really the most affordable way to do it.
Oh, it is. No question.
Yeah.
I can't remember who said it, and somebody in the nation could probably tell me. The three highest paid positions in the NFL is quarterback, guy to protect quarterback, guy to get quarterback. It was like, so defensive end, left tackle, or right tackle now because they're interchangeable in a lot of people's eyes. And the quarterback, that's what it is. It makes sense too because you surround those guys with veterans on the interior as well to try to help that learning process. And it's fine. That's fine the way that works. And the fact that you have a defensive head coach, and we tout this all the time, and I might be diving into another topic, I'm not sure, but we dive into this all the time, Paul. It's something that you brought to light to me right before the show. The Buffalo Bills have a defensive head coach. So if your D coordinator leaves, you don't have to worry about a lot of changes and a lot of things. Could this guy fit in this system, that system? They draft them specifically for the head coach and the defensive coordinator in their philosophy. If you have an offensive head coach, then you don't have to worry about coordinators leaving. This is why we harp more on Dable leaving than Frazier. But we will say, at least I will say many times, I think Frazier, not because of performance, I think Frazier should have been hired the last 2 years as a head coach somewhere. And that's a topic probably for another show. But my point is this. He could leave and then defense, I don't think, would struggle. And that's not a knock on Frazier. That's just saying you have a defensive-minded head coach.
Right.
But if Dable leaves, you have to be very, very careful about who you draft, especially from the skill positions on the offensive side of the ball. And that's why we harp on that so much. Right. If you draft a defensive end, like they did, they drafted 2 defensive ends, they're going to be with McDermott anyway if Frazier leaves. You're good. It's not a worry for me. But if you draft a running back that is primarily touched the ball 35 times a game and you put him in an EP system, Singletary, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle. So that's the only thing that I'm saying. the thing
I
that we
agree with
talk
that.
about here. So
I'm seeing a lot of comments about Spencer Brown playing tight end. So first off, Spencer Brown did play tight end in high school,
Yes.
right? Is he a very large red zone threat?
Is this the
He's
natural?
like 6'7".
Is this the
right?
natural? He used to play in high school, Red. He used to play in high school.
Well,
It's Roy Hobbs.
I mean, we say that argument's made for Dawson Knox too. Well, he was a quarterback in high school. Like,
Don't give me the radio voice.
it's a convenient argument to make. Okay, so it's a convenient argument to make. So you lose Lee Smith. You don't replace that type of player, but you draft Spencer Brown, right? So a lot of
Yeah.
Bills fans are saying, well, Lee Smith got like 6 targets last year. Don't you think Spencer Brown would be capable of doing the same? Now, I think it's an interesting conversation only because Spencer Brown's technically a tackle, and he would have to report as an eligible receiver because of his position. So you're kind of waving the white flag every time you plan on doing that, right? Unless I'm crazy. Am I missing the rule there?
Paul.
Am I missing it?
Did you know Chris Hogan played lacrosse? Elliot. I will say
But
this.
am I missing the rule? You can't send Spencer Brown out there, and not claim him as an eligible receiver and then
True.
and throw a target at him.
True.
But now, mind you, 2020 was the first season in the last 3 that a offensive lineman or defensive lineman wasn't targeted by the Buffalo Bills. Deion Dawkins had been targeted the 2 seasons previous to 2020. Kyle Williams targeted once. So it's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using offensive linemen to catch passes every now and again is there. And you know what's going to happen is it's going to happen in like week 9 for Spencer Brown. And then everybody's going to be talking about it, and he's not going to see a single target the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I mean, let me. First of all, I just want to say, Man Purse comes in and says the city of Tampa is 17 minutes away from winning their 3rd championship in 8 months.
Oh yeah, hockey. You don't follow the hockey.
No, Lightning. I know the Lightning, and I know the Buccaneers. What's the 3rd one? Did the Devil Rays win? Am I missing something?
Mario.
What?
Okay. Are you okay?
Oh, did they win the? Wait, what does it say? 8 months. Yeah, I don't know. No.
Yeah, the Lightning, the hockey. This isn't a 12-month thing. Remember, hockey had a short season last year.
Oh, okay. So Tampa Bay's winning back to back is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, cool. Lightning twice. Thanks, guys. I don't follow. He just even said it. I want to talk to the nation purely because I just want to let you guys know that a very special thing happened last year. Paul and I watched, I think, 1 game together last year of the Bills. The games we didn't watch together, I got a phone call or a text every time the Bills were in the red zone for Paul to let me to know that Ryan Bates was in the game.
I was so mad because you saw
So
him run
this
across
Spencer
us
Brown
twice.
thing is not far-fetched is what he's talking about.
Twice I saw Ryan Bates run crossing routes. Twice. Have you ever seen 325 pounds run a crossing route? It is an event. It is an event.
Lightning won last year, huh? Kind of.
This is your takeaway from this conversation?
That's what it is. I'm usually very well versed on multiple sports, and I'm disappointed in myself. That's what I'm going to say. I'm very disappointed in myself.
We still love you, Mar.
That's okay. My brother went to game 1, I think, of the Cup. He was down there with his son. So Lightning does strike twice. Oh, Vernon. Oh.
So let's get
Okay.
to a couple of the comments that were on the community tab. For those of you who are unaware, we did post, you could submit a question for tonight on the community tab. So I do want to point out there's 2 that we probably need to get to. Shivas Gold says, does Mario care about the Euro since being an Italian American and all? Do you pay attention to anything going on to our partners to the east?
I pay attention to Bitcoin. Every time I get a notification from Paul running a pyramid scheme through Cash App.
I do make some transactions.
Paul is
on
a
the Cash
guru, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be holding his financial talks on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. That's on his. We'll link the channel in the description.
There's no channel, guys. You should not listen to me for financial advice.
It's called Paulie Bucks. So
next one was let's see here. Hen Dog had submitted one. Said, with drafting Stevenson and giving McKenzie some competition in training camp, can Stevenson do the same as McKenzie had last season, if not more? So I think Hen Dog's not referring necessarily to the return job, but more like, here's the deal. McKenzie saw a 25% drop in snap count in 2020,
yes.
Right? And his production skyrocketed. The less snaps, the better for McKenzie, right? McKenzie's basically here for nothing. Do you see this team, one, from a culture standpoint, cutting a guy who basically came back for nothing for a rookie? That's one. Two, do you think that what McKenzie did for you is replaceable by drafting a player?
I'll answer two first. Yes.
Okay.
Which is why they drafted.
Okay.
I think they believe that Stevenson can do what McKenzie does because McKenzie's probably going to be gone. Even though if one thing Buffalo Bills being in the front office know is value. Right now he has a lot of value because he's not costing you anything, and you know he knows what he's doing. Stevenson, you're not sure. You're not 100% sure about this kid. You know he has the potential to do that, and I know how much that word just completely is like nails on a chalkboard for you, Paul. However, that's what teams tend to do sometimes. They tend to draft potential. Okay, we need to cycle this position because he's probably going to be gone. Once that gear is used up in the Buffalo Bills office, whether it's they're going on to greener pastures, Phillips and Lawson, or they're just a guy like a Quentin Spain, or they just happen to fall off the map, as some players after they leave the Bills do. You got to cycle that position. And what's the cheapest way to cycle a position that only gets 36 kick returns a year? You draft it. So, what was the first part of that? Could he do it? I think he can, but not right now.
The first question was, do you see this team cutting a player who came
I don't
back
see them
for
cutting
basically
McKenzie.
nothing?
I don't think because the other thing you have is what you said is that he's an unknown. He may have been scouted by a few guys, but he's not gonna get taken off of your practice squad because, as everyone knows, if you sign a guy off of someone else's practice squad, he needs to go on your 53. And that 36 returns isn't limited to the Bills, by the way. There's teams across the entire league that have 30 to 40 kick returns a year. So they're not going to pull a guy off of their roster, off of your practice squad to put on their 53, which they would have to do. And then they would have to cut him to put him on the practice squad if they wanted to. But they're not going to do that. So Stevenson being a relative unknown, he still has practice squad eligibility. McKenzie does not. McKenzie probably being on the outs next year. It opens the door for a guy that you've had in the building for 1 year and is still on a rookie deal. Nothing wrong with that. But if you cut him, I guess it goes through the cycle of exclusive rights free agent, restricted free agent, all that other stuff. So that's
right.
fine.
Rick Rarick says, who do you think the starting guards will be this season?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to say thank you, Dwayne. What do you guys think about the chances of a late round rookie wide receiver making this roster? Thanks for the show. Is he referring to?
There's a bunch of late round rookie. I mean, here's the deal. If you look at the Bills roster right now at the wide receiver position, okay, you got Duke Williams, who was undrafted. I am of the belief that this is Duke's final season with Buffalo. I just don't see them holding on to him anymore after 100%. This. If he can't make the roster at this point, it's just time to move on. Marquez Stevenson was a later round pick, right?
If that's who he's referring to, we really just talked about him.
Stevenson was drafted in the 6th round.
Appreciate the donation, though, Dwayne. Appreciate it.
Brandon Powell was, I think, undrafted, but he's in his 4th year. So I don't really know if that's the reference. Lance Lenore is in his 3rd season. I think he was undrafted as well.
Yeah.
He's kind of kicked around the league. Jake Kumaro is there. Tanner Gentry was undrafted. A lot of people think Tanner Gentry's a thing here. Mark, I think people think Tanner Gentry is like a smaller, undersized slot receiver. He's 6'2", 209. A lot of people think Tanner Gentry is like 5'11", like a little bit taller than Beasley. He's not.
Can you remind me in the nation, because I forget, I'm blanking on his name right now. Who was the darling of the Buffalo Bills embedded last year that they were calling right after the draft?
Oh, God, what was the name of that receiver? God, they called him like 800 times.
And they ended up cutting him anyway, and he went to the Giants, I think. Gettleman grabbed him. Shocked him.
Yeah, shocker. David Sills. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes,
Gettleman
Chris
grabbed him.
up.
Gettleman, the guy that drafted Kelvin Benjamin, but I digress.
Who's now trying to make it as a tight end? Listen, homeboy likes to eat. Good for him.
That dude's like 4 biscuits away from trying to replace Darrell Williams at tackle. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Listen, if Jameis Winston's still trying to play quarterback, anything's possible.
Yeah, Dwayne was talking about Powell and Stevenson. Yeah, we talked about
Gotcha.
Stevenson and Powell. I don't know about Powell. It's tough. I mean, you
I
look at
don't
the
think-
competition that's above them, and where do they
Yeah.
fit? You know what I mean? Tyree Jackson
not-
is a tight end now too. Oh, Pierre Martinez, what's up, buddy?
I'm not the biggest believer in Powell. He is, if you're looking for somebody to come in and play that slot receiver role a la Beasley, Powell's 5'8". Right? Like what else are you going to do with him besides being a kick returner unless Beasley gets hurt?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because he's entering his 4th season, he does not have, practice squad eligibility under standard rules. So he'd have to take up one of the veteran spots, which are often very protected.
They're
right?
usually
Like
guys that were 1st or 2nd round picks that nobody
Right.
wants and that may want after an injury occurs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why Darren Lee was probably protected.
Mm-hmm.
He was here
Right.
last year, correct? Yes.
Yep. Well, it's the same reason that you saw the Bills sign Kenny Stills. He was a veteran protected guy at the end of the season.
Guy was in the building, man. Guy was in the building. He walked away.
Yep. And who's the running back they signed? Devonta Freeman. They had Devonta Freeman as a veteran.
So
But
funny,
those are-
isn't it? He was in
I
the
know,
building.
right?
Yeah.
But those are the types of players that they're going to want to try and get on those veteran practice squad spots after other teams make their cuts. I would not really plan anybody on this roster to take those veteran spots. I'd imagine Buffalo's going to try and use the veteran practice squad spots on guys that are cut. What you chuckling about?
Because they had 4 veteran spots, correct?
3 or 4.
They had
Yeah,
3
3 or 4.
veteran spots were used on veterans. The last one was used on Dane Jackson.
As well as it should be. As well as it should be.
I love it. I just wanted to. Wow,
I'm
40.
sorry, I love Dane Jackson.
I'm a fan.
What? This is not a question that was on the community tab. Although I did get asked if Zach Ertz was staying at my house, getting ready for training camp. I'm not a Zach. This is not a Zach Ertz stan community. I promise, guys.
not, no.
I promise.
No.
But I do think it's a fair question to ask: who are the available free agents that are out there that could come in and battle a little bit for that CB2 position? Because I do think that there's some Buffalo does have a tendency to want to bring in guys who have a little bit more experience than what you have right now at that cornerback 2 position. So if we're looking at the cornerbacks on the roster right now,
Don't do
you have
it.
Elijah Griffin. He is a rookie from USC. You have Dane Jackson coming in from Pittsburgh. Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis is making a return. Nick McLeod, who's a rookie out of Notre Dame. Cyril Neal is listed as a corner, but we all kind of know how that plays out. Levi Wallace, Tre'Davious Wright, Rashad Wild Goose. End of list, right? So you're really lacking that typical veteran depth at the cornerback position, right? So do we not see that because Tre'Davious White is entering year 5 and you're just expecting him to step forward? Are you not doing that because Levi Wallace is entering year 4? Are you not doing that because Cyril Neal is entering year 4? Do you need that veteran presence at this point? And if so, we'll take a look at some of the guys that are out there and see if it makes sense. What do you think, Mark?
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
What?
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. He's 33 years old. He played for San Francisco last year. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Are you talking about Richard Sherman?
I'm not. I told you not to say it, first of all.
I'm not the biggest believer there, right?
Yeah.
I'm just not.
I mean, you got these guys are old, man. These are very
Yeah.
old.
Yeah,
Jason
I'm not
Verrett
I like
injuries.
Jason Verrett.
Philip
injuries are a
Gaines,
problem.
no. EJ,
Yeah,
we've
we've been
already
there.
been there.
Yeah.
Like I people will like Sherman because of the name, but this isn't 2014 anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't get Drake Kirkpatrick is 32.
Mhm.
Nicole Roby Coleman is 29, but he's mainly a slacker. Gary and Conley.
I like Garon Conley
26.
a lot. I liked him so much coming out of college.
But he went to the Raiders because he had some off the field issues, correct?
Right.
Okay. Guy could have turned his life around. DJ Hayden out of Jacksonville. Brian Poole, not hateful, but he played with the Jets last year, so it's probably.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we're 2 weeks down the road.
Here we go.
Kevin Johnson is still available. Some of you might remember Kevin Johnson
Former
because
first round pick, yeah.
former first round pick, former Buffalo Bill, went to the Browns, now a free agent. Do you think Kevin Johnson comes back? And if so, does that really solve your problem?
It doesn't solve anything. I think bringing Kevin Johnson back, we saw how that played out with Josh Norman. Josh Norman's career ended in Tennessee when he got pie-faced by Derrick Henry. No one told him, though. Brian Poole's also a slot guy. You're right, Jane. Yeah, I forgot. He is a slot guy. He definitely is a slot guy. My bad.
So
He retired.
Who?
Apex says he retired.
Sherman or Kevin
No,
Johnson?
Kevin Johnson. I think he was
really?
trying to type a J. He retired. Okay.
He's only 29.
Hey, don't hate the player.
All right.
But it answers your question. He doesn't provide you any help in 2021.
Noted. Duly noted.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. We got roasted a little bit. Hey, Kevin Johnson retired, guys. What the hell's wrong with you?
Oh, yeah. So sorry I didn't keep up on the former 1 year, but whatever, guys. Whatever.
No, that's fine. No,
Can't be everywhere.
I don't think I'd take Norman back if we had an injury. I could see that. I mean, I could see them doing it. But at 34, you saw what you had from Norman last year. He wasn't giving you what you needed. He really wasn't giving you what you needed. Now, do I agree that any corner that comes in, multimillionaire at 29, why not retire? Jason, the former defensive end for Miami, Jason Taylor. What's up, buddy? The point is this. You have Tre'Davious White on the other side of you, which means you're going to be targeted, number one. The only guy that knows that consistently is Levi Wallace and Teron Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is this. You have probably the greatest safety blanket ever in Hyde and Poyer above you.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
you should feel comfortable. Co Simpson for $1 million.
I asked on Reddit, what is your greatest
I got you, Chris.
player Bills jersey? Like, what is the greatest random player that you just happen to own? And somebody's like, oh, I have a Coy Wire jersey. And another person goes, oh, I've got a Co Simpson jersey. Like, those are random Bills players. Great jerseys. Great jerseys to have.
I have three actually.
What?
I have a Fred Jackson jersey.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
I have a Drew Bledsoe jersey,
Okay.
which I was playing. Funny story. I was playing football, like tackle football. You guys like backyard football with somebody, and I wore that to the field. And some guy goes, "Either that's Drew Bledsoe or the biggest Roscoe Parrish jersey I've ever seen in my life."
That number's been cursed since Bledsoe.
Oh my God! Since before him, Norwood did it. But Puzzlesny's the other one I have because it was $5 at a garage sale, and it's like authentically stitched.
Oh, so it's one of the good ones.
It's one of the good. So I was like, "This is
Yeah.
solid jersey." Like if I'm playing outside, I'm playing in this. Bryce
Rick.
Paup. I think
Yeah,
everyone
Rick.
has a Bryce
Yeah.
Paup.
Rick, does it have the blood of your enemies on it?
I am definitely not that Jason Taylor. Appreciate it, brother.
Yo, Chris, you have an Ashton Yabody jersey?
Stop it.
Yeah, this is a great question to ask. Yeah,
McGahee. I like McGahee. I like that one.
I love that pick at the time. I was like, I love the pick at the time.
It was such a steal.
So,
Anything else on the community tab?
well, I want to get back to the cornerback thing. So, do you think that this is something where Buffalo waits until roster cuts come in, and then they grab their veteran then? Here's the deal. They have proven that they're going to sign a veteran corner at some point, right? Their history says they will not start the season without a veteran corner on this team. Now, mind you, you can classify Levi Wallace as a veteran corner. You can classify, Tre'Davious White as a veteran corner. But they have a history of doing this. So I'm just saying that if you were to ask me, are they going to sign a corner before week 1? The answer is yes. I do feel it will probably be somebody once roster cuts come in. There's going to be somebody that they look at and say, yep, got to have him. He'll make our team better, and we'll deal with the fact that he won't know the system for the first 2 weeks on the roster.
I don't know. No, I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. What,
I'm just
1
saying,
year, $2
history
million
says, man.
deal? Which
History
corner on that list is going to take a 1 year, $2 million deal?
Well, I'm not saying it's. I'm saying it's a guy that's on a roster right now, right? So the guy that gets cut.
Oh, so a guy that doesn't have a job and wants to go to Buffalo, or probably a guy they're talking to. Let me ask you this: is it a guy that goes on your 53?
Oh, I have to. Yeah, he'd have to.
So what you're saying is this isn't limited to current rookies that may have been drafted that get cut and sent to practice squads.
No.
Ooh, that'd be bold. That would be bold if the Buffalo Bills did that.
Just throwing it out there.
I know. You know what though? I know, and we tend to go on patterns, and Bean has developed a pattern as of yet. I mean, as of right now, he does. He's got one now. We got a little bit of a track record with Bean. Still don't know what the guy's thinking because he's an evil genius. Like, I really think that he has pictures of other GMs in precarious positions around the NFL. Highly possible. It's purely speculation, though.
Hey, listen, he got draft picks for A.J. McCarron and Zay Jones.
And Lee Smith.
And a tight end who caught 4 of 6 targets last year and said he was planning on retiring. Yes. Yes.
I can't.
Apex is talking about Steve Nelson.
Full or half?
What?
You talking about Nelson?
No. Am I missing a joke?
I said full or half.
I immediately went to Nelson, the band from the 80s with Gunner and like the other guy, the other Gunner brother, the other Nelson brother had it was like Mike. It was some basic name. But one was Gunner.
You.
Yeah.
Wrestling joke. Yes, Vernon. Thank you. All right, go ahead with Nelson. Full always. All right, Apex. Yeah. Let's keep it PG-13. Jesus Christ. Marshall Newhouse and Russell Bodine. Yes.
Oh yeah. Also, got picks for them.
Isn't it great to have conversations about Buffalo Bills moves and not the ones where we're like, oh, this guy left the Bills and now he's having a Hall of Fame career at some other place. You know what I mean?
How many times are we gonna have to talk about Wyatt Teller and how that deal was fine?
It
was fine.
I'm good with Wyatt Teller. I am good with Wyatt Teller. And this is the argument why it frustrates you, Paul. Why it frustrates me. It frustrates a lot of the nation because the nation, we explain things to them that they already know, and I feel bad about it, but we have to do it. That's just the way it is. You guys know that the offense that is run in Cleveland is not on the same spectrum as the one that's run in Buffalo. They are a very, very run-heavy team. You got Hunt and Chubb there. You are going to run the damn ball. That's what they do. Teller is phenomenal. We never said, you look back at the tapes 2-3 years ago, we knew Teller was a great run blocking guard. That was laid in stone. What do? They run the damn ball there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was never a question with the guy. But coming over to this offense, it just didn't. He was going to get value out of a guy that was what was Teller? Later round pick though, right?
Yeah. It was a good player in a better situation.
It was, and you garnered the resources to get Stephon Diggs on your team. I think that's the thing that gets lost in the mix with the Teller. Oh, we could have had Teller. You wouldn't have had Diggs, or they would have given up other assets that you wouldn't have been able to draft Gabriel Davis maybe, or Hodges, who's been lighting it up in practice. So we don't know the events that would have occurred, but both teams won. Let's just say that. Both teams won.
Yeah. And that's what trades are supposed to do. They're designed. Not all of them work out, like Chris Jenke just mentioned, like Eli Harold for Ryan Bates. Not all of them can work out like that.
I'm going to fight you.
The nation's great.
The nation is great.
The nation's great.
The nation is phenomenal. Paul, you remember when we traded Eli Harold for your boy?
There we go. See?
You just read that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He slides all day.
D-Wagon, who is our resident Lions fan, by the way.
D-Wagon. Love D-Wagon.
D-Wagon put on here, NFL analyst Greg Cosell said he didn't think at this point in their careers that Ertz was an upgrade over Knox for the Bills offense because he lacks the ability to stretch the field. First of all, do you guys agree? And if so, wouldn't it be more beneficial for the Bills long-term to save the cap space for an extension for Edmonds or Josh Allen? So we've talked about this. We did talk about this kind of at the top of the show.
That was Wagon?
Yeah, D-Wagon.
If Wagon is still here, I want to give him a big sloppy kiss and a hug because that is amazing.
Why?
That is a
well thought out question.
It is. Well, you think the Bills are $10 million under the cap right now.
Yeah.
You're going to have to eat 8.5. Obviously, the Bills are really good at restructuring all that stuff. But that 8.5, I would rather use on Edmonds and Allen's extensions,
right?
Rather than put it on a tight end that will see 50 targets,
right?
And to his first point, do I think he stretches the field? Paul, you and I talked about this before the stream. There's only like 3 tight ends that stretch the field in the NFL anymore. There's no more Vernon Davises in the NFL anymore. No. You got Kittle. You got Kelsey. Who else?
Waller.
Well, Waller was a receiver. That's the only reason.
Fact.
Like, let me ask you this.
2 years on a practice squad.
How does he stretch the field more than Hollister? Now, I'm not touting Hollister. I'm just saying Hollister's a guy that can run down the field for you.
Right.
Why spend another $8.5 million for a guy that can't or not necessarily is known for doing that?
Right. Well, and my question is, as plays break down, how much does vertical speed really help you? Right. Everybody talks about Josh Allen's arm as his big, downfield threat. And while that's very true, the fact that Josh's arm is so strong, he can make decisions really late and still fit it in the window. Right. We've talked about that in the past. His arm's so damn strong. He can wait till the absolute last millisecond to make a decision and still fit the ball in for a reception. So do you really need a tight end to stretch the field? Is that really what you need? Or do you need somebody who can just simply stay open? Just find it, feel it, and just stay open.
Find the patch of grass and stay open. But here's the thing. And I know we talked about the possibility of Kelsey stretching the field, right? But guys, look at who's around him. He had Watkins. You have Hill. You have Mecole Hardman. Those guys are there to stretch the field for you. So Kelsey can run freely underneath. So that you don't need that. You don't need that. If you have guys that could stretch the field vertically around your tight end, you don't need the tight end to stretch the field.
Right.
So I think Spence says save more money. Yeah, you get a cheaper deal.
John Veneron threw us $5 for absolutely no reason. We much appreciate you, John.
John, you are the man. You got a question you want to throw in there real quick?
I just want to point out John is going to be coming down for the hashtag golf tournament for dinner. He's in the 585, but he's going to drive down for dinner afterwards. Not a golfer. That's okay. He's going to drive down for dinner September 11th at Diamond Hawk Golf Course.
I'm going to drive to the 585 to have dinner with him. I don't care. I'm off all summer, John. Let's go.
The interesting thing about the Ertz thing, right? If you wait out. Oh, I'm sorry. What,
John says the only Ertz worth trading for is Julie Ertz.
I don't even know who Julie Ertz is.
I'm assuming it's Zach Ertz's wife.
Oh, I'll allow it.
Okay.
So
he's hung up on Rachel Bush, guys. Just ignore him.
So, with Ertz, if Philadelphia ultimately cuts him, because that's kind of what it's looking like.
It's
right?
yep.
It's kind of what it's looking like.
Mm-hmm.
So if Philadelphia ultimately cuts him, people are going to say, "Well, Ertz should take a prove-it deal." No, he won't.
Ertz 31.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that. Yes. Tell me why you think that's a problem.
Is it a problem for Buffalo to be the one that gets that deal? The prove-it deal?
No. I'm talking about Ertz, right? Why would you stay away from a prove-it deal at 31?
Oh, at 31 because you don't know where you're going to go, what the kind of production you're going to get, like out of whatever offense you're going to go to. If he gets cut, I would not be surprised if he landed in Indy.
Mm-hmm.
You got Reich there, you got Wentz there. His most productive year was with those two guys. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm saying that not remembering who the tight end in Indy is right now. I have no idea.
Ebron and Jack Doyle. Is he still there?
Ebron and Jack Doyle, who are probably on the last year of their deals, which they didn't
Mo
prove
Alley
it.
Cox or something.
Mo Alley Cox. Point being is that that would make sense. If the Eagles cut him, I could see him going there. 110%. But if he gets cut and the Bills want to entertain a 1-year, $2 million deal, good for the Bills, bad for Ertz. Because if he goes down the history of Dable, which his agent will, he's going to go, you don't want to go there.
Right.
We want to go there for $8.5 million. We don't want to go there for $2 million. No, because you won't. Don't sleep on Mo Alley Cox. I love the name, Chris. I love the name. Ertz is solid. Look at his yak. He catches the ball and falls down. Then he's Sammy Watkins from the tight end position, basically.
Yeah, I had a couple of those. I look at it this way, right? If you're Ertz, you're looking for a 3-year deal because you still think you can get it, even if it's not for great money.
Yeah.
Right. You still think you deserve a multi-year deal. There's no prove-it deal because what happens at a 31-year-old on a 1-year prove-it deal? That means he's a 32-year-old on a 1-year prove-it deal the year after. And then what's he doing? He's riding the Clowney train for the rest of his career, where he's just going to keep hopping 1-year deals. That's not what you want to do.
Clowney's a freak athlete, though. You can't really compare him to Ertz.
He is, but there's no team that's going to ever commit to him to multiple years at this point.
No. What I'm saying is that guys still commit to Clowney for 1-year deals because they're like, he's still got it in him. He's still a freak. He can still do this. And I just want to get to Truth to Hearts real quick. He goes, why are we ignoring the fact that the great quarterbacks elevate players? Diggs elevated his game. Beasley, Brown. Why wouldn't Ertz? I think Allen would be the best quarterback that Ertz ever had. While I'm not arguing that point, Truth. I'm not. What I'm saying is that in the construct of where the offense is right now and how Brian Dable, over the history of his offensive coordinator career, which is 10 plus years now, right, Paul? He's got to be on 10 plus years. I mean, this is the first place that he stayed more than 2.
Right.
Buffalo's, over that history is why I don't trust it, Truth. Not to say that he couldn't. If he was the second or third option in the Buffalo Bills offense, I'm sure Allen would elevate his game. I'm sure having Diggs on the outside would open up things underneath for Ertz. I'm not arguing that fact and the potential and the talent of the kid. I'm just saying that what I've seen out of the philosophy of the offense, I don't think it would work. For $8.5 million for a guy to get 50 targets. That's just my gut feeling of how Dable would try to use him.
Yep. I understand your thinking, and I honestly don't really disagree with you. Opposite side of that coin, isn't it great to be a Bills fan, to be able to talk about acquiring a player that you don't necessarily really need just because you want to? Isn't that fun? Is it fun? You know what? Let's do it. Why not? Let's just add him, and let's just add him. Why not? What do we got going on today? You wanna go on and get a former Pro Bowl tight end? I got like 20 minutes. All right, let's spend $8 million. Isn't it fun the fact that you can have conversations about players you don't necessarily even need and say, well, you know what? They're a weapon for us by not doing anything. They're still a weapon. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I think it's great.
Who said it? Here's okay, no. Where is it? T Dobbs. I'm late as usual. Knox is going to shock the world. Bold prediction. I love it, T Dobbs. Just to answer. What the heck? Ooh, that thing just skirted up real quick. If we get Ertz, Elliot, if we get Ertz on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are you? I wouldn't be mad at all. Like just to go off of Paul's point. Like, isn't it great to talk about guys you don't need?
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at all. I would be like, okay, what? I want to know what the numbers are.
Right. Is it worth the money? Debatable, right? But I'll tell you what, you win a Super Bowl, it was worth the money.
It was worth the money. But let me ask you this. If the money that you bring Ertz in, let's say they extended him. Let's say that was one of the things that sweetened the deal, because you said he's going to be looking for a 3-year deal, Paul.
Right. Yeah, there's no way he's
Let's say the extension of Ertz, because now it's crazy speculation and hypotheticals. Ertz comes in, you extend him.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to. Yeah,
Okay, you extend him. Dable leaves. You still have enough offensive weapons in your arsenal to compete with a new offensive coordinator, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Set it and forget it. You're not losing.
Unfortunately, the extension that you had for Ertz sacrificed Tremaine Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
Are you comfortable with the deal now?
Nope. And I don't even like Tremaine Edmonds that much. Nope.
Lightning won the cup. All right, D'Antanyan. Yeah. 3 titles in a year. That's all I'm saying. Paul, start chugging. 50 likes and Paul chugs a White Claw. He says that at 49.
So AK brings up a point. Paul, didn't you just say you could restructure to 3.5 a year for Zach Ertz? So,
There we
yes.
go. Yes.
Okay, we're just going to back this train up real quick. Zach Ertz is coming in with an $8 million salary on a 1-year deal. So what you need to do is you're going to take that money, right? And you could basically put him on a 1-year base salary, take that $8 million that he's supposed to get paid and make that a signing bonus and add 2 more years to a deal, right? They take that $7 million and divide it up among the 3 years.
Yeah.
You can get Zach Ertz easy money, very simple, for under 4, right? Under 4 this year. But you're committing yourself to Zach Ertz for 2 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if that's really what you're looking for.
No.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sean from Mr. Rogers' Home. Side note, speaking about Super Bowls, I'm hoping the Bills go in 2022 and 2023 when it's in Arizona, maybe possibly do a poolside show.
Oh, my God. We'll be there every day. Believe me. I will call Paul's employer and be like, listen, we're leaving. Paul just got asked to be on The Bachelor, so we're going to leave to Arizona. No, I'm just kidding.
That would not be true.
Well, it doesn't have to be true. I don't care. Shit. He'll be there for 3 weeks. Believe me, he'll be the first one off. Don't worry about it. All right. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Mark.
That's
Thanks.
okay.
Thanks a lot.
So would I. You're not alone in that boat, Paul. And only one of us is single. Figure that one out. All right. All right. So what I have here, Paul, we're going to do 2 things. Number 1, who is one player you're really looking forward to see how he does in camp? And it's a 2-part question. I'm going to throw it to the nation as well, because we got families. 2 things. Number 1, who's your starting 5 for the Magic? No, I'm saying who's your starting 5 offensive linemen this year for the Buffalo Bills before we go into camp? And after that is said, who is the one player you're looking forward to seeing in camp and how he produces and what he does?
Okay. Item number 1 is I am excited to see bash him in camp because he is your stereotypical Sean McDermott defensive end. He is if you were to create a mold of the type of defensive end that Sean McDermott absolutely salivates over at night,
Addison
is Boogie Basham.
I love
Basham
Boogie.
is the guy that that's the type of player he absolutely adores. That level of player, what he brings to the table. So I'm excited to see Boogie Basham. Yeah, I think in the system, he makes a ton of sense.
He does.
Right. So I'm excited there. As far as starting offensive line,
Apex comes in with Dawkins, Ford, Morris, Mongo, and Williams.
Ford. Yeah, get out of here with that nonsense. All right, so we got
and Vernon agrees with him.
No, guys,
and this one is Elliott.
No, guys, be better. Be better than that. No. So
I love it.
I think I'm gonna start right. I'm gonna start right to left.
You
okay?
would.
I would. Yeah. Darrell Williams is obviously your starting right tackle, so you're fine there. I do still see Feliciano starting at right guard, although again, given the contract, that might not necessarily happen. But I do think that Feliciano starts for you at right guard. Morris is still going to be your center. I don't really think there's any competition there at all. I see Butker as your starting left guard. And the reason I see Butker as your starting left guard is this team has put a lot of man hours into him already. They got to reap that at the end of the season. And honestly, he played quite well. I don't see a reason why he would start over Cody Ford. I really don't. And then I think you're obviously looking at Deion Dawkins at left tackle. So those would be my starting five.
I got to look up one thing really quick.
Yeah.
And then I will be with you for the Buffalo Bills. I just got to check something out because this always determines certain things. You got to understand too, guys, the value for which they are signed sometimes is a tell. Not many people knew about John Feliciano when he came into camp, but 80% of his contract was guaranteed. The first contract he got for Buffalo was 80% was guaranteed. That says a lot. So let me go look at this really quick. Where the hell is this guy? I'll find him in a second. But I'm just curious. I just got to know what his. Shut up. I got to find out how much he was signed for. Okay. That's the insurance policy. Okay. All right. I just to be different than you, because I honestly had your starting lineup, Paul. I did.
Okay.
I had. Now, AK brought up a great point. He said starting 5 week 1 or majority of the year. That is the best question I think I've ever heard, because I think Paul's lineup starts the year. I think you got Dawkins, Butker, Morse, Feliciano, and Williams. That starts the year. That was the line that ended the year, right? Why not?
Or close to that.
What? Or close to that?
That was close to that was the end of the year line. Right.
Yeah, it was the end of the year line. But what I'm saying is Ford for maybe trade bait. I would love that. If you can get anything for him. Galleries goes Williams, Mongo, Morris, Ford, and Dawkins. A lot of people are high on Ford, Paul. A lot of people are high on Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this. I think due to talent and how fast they acquired him, I have the same line you do, except I got Lamp at left guard.
Ooh.
I like the Lamp. Paul and I are in agreement that he gets traded at some point for value. I really think he's a great value. He's a great depth guy. You get a second round left guard for depth? Are you kidding me? Only to be different than Paul, though. That's the only reason I'm saying. I'm going to say that Lamp is your left guard. Because Butker, and I don't know why I'm dogging on him the way I am, but he's been great. He really has been great. So I'm going to say Lamp instead of Butker. The guy I'm looking forward most in camp, and I'm sorry guys, for the line if Lamp upsets you guys. I love Lamp, Tyrell Adams.
Yeah, you mentioned this name to me off the air. And first off, before you get to there, Jason Taylor says Butker didn't play as well as many people think. Watch the tape. I will be honest with you, right? It is not pretty.
No.
It is not.
Oh God, no.
It is not pretty.
But
But
Trek has Brown at right tackle.
I do want to point out that this team goes with guys who win matchups. And while it wasn't pretty, the fact of the matter is, if that's the way he plays and he's still winning, he'll start. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm far from saying it's an ideal scenario, but yeah, I agree. It is not the most pleasant film to watch.
No, it's not.
But he wins.
But
he wins.
Honestly, if you're looking at the AFC Championship game, I can't believe I'm talking about that. I'm still in awe of it this many months later. The Bills were in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
How great was that? The last time they lost the AFC Championship game, they went to 4 straight AFC Championship games. So just to let you guys know. Yes, I did. I'm saying that the line will shuffle. Okay, whether to injury or whatever. Morse gets hurt. Feliciano goes to center. Insert Spencer Brown. I don't know. I don't know. But I'll say to start camp. I'll say that the line that starts camp is the one that Paul said, the one that ended the year. And you're right. It wasn't pretty. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to go ahead. Tyrell Adams, I'm so intrigued to see what this kid does. Because obviously he was brought in as the insurance policy. He has some injuries. His shoulder was messed up. He didn't have to have surgery. He was the insurance policy for Matt Milano. 29 years old. He was a tackle machine down in Houston last year. Played 12 games, started 12 games, had 114 tackles. And he's supposed to be undersized. He's supposed to be, you know what I mean? If I had to pick a second, I think Triggs triggered it for me. He said, I can't wait to see Rousseau as a defensive tackle. Right position, wrong guy. Obata at DT. I cannot wait to see that manimal at defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, especially with Starr eating 2 bodies if he plays.
Well, the defensive tackle position, Mar, and maybe this is a conversation for another day, but
is.
The Bills have a tendency to only keep 4 defensive tackles. And you look at the 53-man, that's what they've often done, is only kept 4, and often they keep 5 defensive ends.
Yes.
This is, in order to keep Obata, right, you have to keep, at that point, you have to get rid of either Butler, Hughes, or Addison.
You don't.
You have to get rid of one of those 3 in order to keep
you
Obata
don't,
if you're going to keep 9.
You don't.
Really? What do you mean?
NY Up has 10 defensive linemen.
I'm just saying Bills history.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Says they 5 defensive ends, 4 defensive tackles. That's been their thing.
Okay,
right?
so just to kind of go off of them because they're a great reference. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Hughes, Addison, Epineza, Boogie, and Rousseau. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Now, is Obata a defensive end or defensive tackle? Because remember when he got brought in, everyone was like, "Oh, we got a new defensive end." And
yeah,
Paul,
he was way more productive as defensive tackle. Way more productive.
They got Starr, Oliver, Butler, Obata, and Phillips. Phillips like lost man in the middle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think hopefully he plays, but he may not. You get 9 defensive linemen if Starr opts out again. And then you got Oliver, Butler, Obata, and Phillips as your rotation in the middle. Which
Starr would have to retire.
I know. I'm not hating on that, though. I'm not hating on those 4. Mm-hmm. If you decide to go into the season with Oliver, Butler, Obata, and Phillips, I am fine. I am confident that those 4 can do it. With the animals you're going to have on the outside, oh, Jesus Christ. Now they're gonna teams. I think with the introduction of Rousseau and Basham, I think what it does is it shifts the protection schemes of teams so that it opens up the middle more for Milano and Edmonds to roam through bigger gaps.
I think that's a big point to make, right?
Yeah.
So before they were trying to crunch the quarterback.
Yes.
We're getting away from that now, right? Now It's about get to the quarterback, not crunch the quarterback.
Yeah.
Create those spaces, create those gaps, and then let your linebackers go hunt.
Because before, absolutely. I think that's what it's going to happen is that they were so concerned with plugging the middle to keep bodies off of Edmonds and Milano, because they were so good sideline to sideline. Well, now what you're going to do is by having the ends that you have be so disruptive that you're going to have to allot either a running back or a tight end to them. you open up the middle to give the vision of the linebackers. They could see everything now in the backfield. And you don't have those guards don't have free reign now. So now instead of having one-on-one matchups on the outside, you got one-on-one matchups on the inside. Now you want to do one-on-one matchup. You want to put Ed Oliver in a one-on-one matchup. You're asking for trouble, sir. Zimmer could go to the practice squad. He might. Star can't opt out. Deadline opt. Oh, it was okay. So he can't. He'd have to retire.
He'd have to
That's
retire.
what you said. That okay.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. He'd have to retire. So Paul, this was fun.
I know.
This was fun.
Can you believe it's been an hour?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half?
Yes.
Damn.
We should do
We
this
have to
more
do
often.
this more.
We should do this. You free next Wednesday?
Sure.
I will now disclose. You guys have currently 30 seconds right now to type into the chat what you thought I was drinking tonight, and I will Venmo you $5 or Cash App. Our email address is linked on our YouTube page. So if you guys want our email address, it's on there. If you win, you put Yingling no. So if you guys win, if I tell whoever wins, make sure that you email. That's where it is. Show the drink again. Sorry.
Oh, Sean says, let's talk about the golf outing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So-
go ahead.
Yeah, so September 11th at Diamond Hawk Golf Course, we're going to have the hashtag charity golf tournament to benefit Rick Rarick, who's in the chat right now, and M25 Farms. So you weren't even drinking it out of a can? I never caught it.
I
You drink it
opened
out
the
of a
cans.
glass?
I was opening the cans, pouring it into a glass.
All right. So we are going to we're going to be there playing golf, having a good time. It's going to be shotgun start, dinner afterwards. We're going to do silent auction. We're going to have, we're planning on having the hole-in-one contest, putt for $10,000, all the fun stuff that you kind of expect when you go to a golf tournament. Carts included. If you want to come down just for dinner, we'll have just a dinner package up to you. Mara and I are going to do a show from the restaurant after, just going to be a town hall.
Yeah,
exactly
really.
like this live stream.
Yeah.
But you guys are going to be there with us, and we absolutely can't wait to meet all you guys. It's scheduled the day before the home opener, so if you're coming into town, come play golf with us or come out to dinner. Everything's going to charity, so we'd love to see you guys. Thank you, obviously, to Sean. While I don't expect Sean to be there, Sean's presence will be felt. I assure you.
It will, 100%.
I assure you. Apex says Mario is drinking Paul's bad takes.
We had some really great ones, and I was typing in. It was alcoholic because we had some orange Gatorade, cream soda, root beer, Killian's Red. Let me see, Walmart Cola. I don't shop for my soda the way Paul does, guys.
Listen, Dr. Tops is an acceptable substitution. I'm just throwing it out there.
All I'm saying is that he wasted a lot of time going to school for that many years. I would have bought it from a Mr. Tops. No? Not a Mitch Hedberg fan?
Listen, you finished last in med school. They still call you doctor.
Yeah, but nobody's hiring your ass. Loganberry hard, Mario Zima, no. Rum and Coke, no. This is why I thought nobody would ever guess it, because it's something I never have at my house.
Okay, well, hold on. I haven't guessed yet.
Okay.
So, I didn't actually see you take any drinks, so I am a little off on this one.
There's a lot of darker guesses because it was a darker drink.
Okay.
That's why there's rum and Coke, Guinness,
Right.
motor oil. I mean, I wouldn't be against drinking motor oil. I really would. Killian's Red is big facts. I love Killian's Red, but I did not have it. Keystone Light, no.
I have
Truly, no. Truth. Truth. We had such a great talk tonight. Why would you say truly?
I am gonna go with. I actually have no good guesses here. I have no good guesses. I have no idea.
You've never seen me drink this. Does this help?
No.
A&W root beer? No. It's
Mar, we don't
alcoholic,
hang-
guys.
Mar, the truth is, we don't see each other physically all that often.
People don't know
And
this,
usually
though.
you're driving.
Yes.
So this is not an option. I think you and I have shared beverages at a place that wasn't our house. What, 6 times?
Oh, it had
7
to be.
times?
It had
Yeah.
to be.
Under 10.
I think,
Under
what was one of the last ones? Was it the It was the AFC Championship game.
AFC Championship game.
And I drove home. We did the post game.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, guys. I'll keep you guys. I'm done in suspense. A twisted tea.
What?
Yeah,
Are you okay?
They were
Are you getting ready for Hot Mario Summer?
I'm definitely slimming down. You guys have no idea how beast mode I'm going to go. But the point was, yeah, gross. Yeah, I know. It was okay. Angry Orchard hard cider. Everyone, I love how dude, it's so funny that like there's so many. Oh man, I love you guys. I love the nation, but there's so many more people that guess that haven't guessed that it hasn't. So it's not the tears of your enemies. Yes, Chris. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen of Hashtag Nation, thank you. Thank you for the comeback live. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, you're smashing that like button on the videos. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming up very, very soon. I am back in the saddle again, as Aerosmith will state. But for Paul, for Mr. Rogers Homes, our sponsor, and for myself, Hashtag Nation, you guys are – he looks like Star. Shut up. You guys are the absolute best. And we can't wait to come back and do this live again. And we're going to have some episodes for you and some fun stuff. And make sure you're checking out that community tab for more questions, Q&As, rapid fire, and all that stuff. So for Paul, Mr. Rogers Homes, and myself, we are out of here. You have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.